The greatest financial trap isn't debt. It's believing your worth can be purchased. Today we're going to talk about how, just like every other video, there's a BMW that has over leveraged themselves and now is figuring a way to get out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to hit the bell notification for future videos. Let's dive in.
You said he pays $1,700 a month for his M5? I just saw your email that said urgent, need help, need to sell car.
Right now, we're in a really scary situation with my boyfriend, and we're gonna move out of the country. I have a Mercedes GLA 43 AMG, and my boyfriend has a BMW M5. He works in sales, and I work in administrative. We've done decent so far, and it's crazy that our life has come to this. We're getting ready to move to Colombia, and we need to sell them as soon as possible.
Everything good?
Honestly, we just don't feel safe staying here under Trump's presidency.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm praying that you have a good outcome.
Thank you. We're just trying to figure out the best course of action. I have really good credit, but my boyfriend doesn't, so I had to co-sign for him for his BMW. My Mercedes is a 2019, and I still owe about $49,000 on it. Now, I feel like you're going to yell at me based on the videos that I've seen before. I think I'm at a 13.3% interest in my monthly payment, which is around $1,400 a month. Please don't judge me.
Oh my God.
And now my boyfriend's,
Can I judge you just a little bit? Just a little.
I know, silly mistakes, trying to keep up with people, but here we are. Now, my boyfriend's BMW M5, he still owes around, I believe it's 60 grand for it. Like I said before, I had to co-sign for him, and he's at 17% interest, and I believe he pays $1,700 a month.
You said he pays $1,700 a month for his M5?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, what's your credit score and what's his credit score?
My credit score is about 740, and his is 580.
Oh, so you got 61,000 miles on the GLE?
Yes.
Very organized. I appreciate that.
I watch your videos all the time, so.
You came prepared. The number's pulling up an M550. It's not an M5. Oof. So that one's worth around $31,500. So in total, you're about $45,000 in negative equity. How much money do you have saved up right now?
$15,000, but we really need to use that to move.
To help you guys out, I know you guys are in a tricky situation. I could give you a couple grand more in the M550, so I can give you $33,500, and that's a very, very strong offer. I'm offering you $4,000 more on both. So you'd probably be closer to $40,000 in negative equity. And since you're going to be working remote, you could just still pay that off little by little. That's the only way right now. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do anything else with that.
Would it just be better to let the cars stay and let them get repoed? I mean, I've never been in this situation before.
If you do that, just know it's going to affect your credit. You have good credit. So, I mean, try not to ruin your credit. But if that's the only option, then yeah, you can definitely have an option for telling the bank to come pick it up. Let me know. I'm here. I hope your situation gets better.
She co-signed for her boyfriend. She has good credit. He doesn't. They're leaving because of him. They both have BMWs. And she said this is the price of trying to keep up with other people. The biggest thing that gets people in trouble is keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up and comparing yourselves to other people. Poor person always wants to look rich, but the rich person always wants freedom. And this is what happens. You can see how there is no freedom. They can't just up and leave in an emergency situation, right? And the boyfriend leaving must mean that he's probably undocumented, right? And if you are undocumented, right, in any country, right, and you're just trying to get by or you want to live a better life, so you've come to this country, right, why over leverage? Why get a BMW? Like, you don't even have the foundation of a house, but you want to jump into a mansion. And that is that most people don't really want wealth or freedom. They just want the appearance of wealth, because this whole situation was not built on trying to start a future together. You guys were basically leasing an identity.
I work at a small independent buy here, pay here. And one thing I'm starting to see a trend of, because I've gotten multiple phone calls in the last 2-3 weeks of people that have been making their car payments with what happens to be most of the time Toyota Financial, that they just can't afford their payments anymore. And they're like, hey, can you get us approved before and just give us this car back? And this is scary to me because there's so much going on. I'm seeing so many people going through the same exact thing where life is just so expensive that they can't keep their car payments. And they've been paying them for 2 or 3 years, but they're willing to give them back. I'm seeing more bankruptcies. I'm seeing student loans. I'm seeing a lot of people that are good people that make decent money, just not being able to afford life. Rent is going up. Interest rates are through the roof. Car payments are through the roof. Car insurance is through the roof. So let me know if you're seeing the same thing, if you're in the car business, or if you're feeling this in real life, because I would joke around with my better half, and I'd say it's like 100 a day, like between raising these kids, diapers, and groceries. But that same 100 is now almost like 150. If you go to the market now, what used to be like 60, 70 is now like 100, 110. And if you were spending 100, you're now spending 150. And people are starting to feel this crunch. I don't know what is going on, but are you noticing this too? Things are so ridiculously expensive, And we're just out here trying to survive. But what scares me is I'm starting to see the same thing over and over. People with decent jobs that have decent credit and make decent money that just can't afford to live anymore because everything else is becoming so much more expensive.
Honestly, this just shows me that people don't go broke all at once, right? People go broke one justified decision at a time because everything is so expensive and childcare is expensive. Like, can you imagine one child is $1,500, and depending on your location, it might be more, it might be less, but still, even 1,000 for one child is crazy. Imagine if you have two, that's $2,000. Somebody making $4,000, just by that, half of their income is gone. Let's add a $700 car payment and insurance. Let's say another $1,000. This person has student loans. Let's say 250 of that goes to that. So this person has 750 now, right? This person needs gas. So let's say 200 is gone. This person has 550 left, right? Now, this person needs food to eat. This person has other things that they pay for. This person is now negative. You can start to see how, because of one justified decision, everything else becomes this life of debt trauma and debt cycles. And at the end of the day, I tell people to live below their means. But at some point, even if you do live below your means, right, and you do make every decision right, you are one health crisis away from living like people that you think you're better than, right? You literally have one job loss away for you to be living that same type of lifestyle in that same type of horror, right? And all of this has a lot to do with politics because most people don't really understand that politics and banking go hand in hand. Lobbying, right? And who makes decisions is not on you. You are just dealt a hand that you have to play with. You are dealt a hand that you have to live with every single day. Waking up every single day is expensive in this country. I'm not gonna lie to you because I have two kids. You know what I'm saying? Even though I try to make good decisions, things happen. Life happens. You have to be honest with people, but you also have to see the situation that people are also living in. You can afford a car today, but because you might have a child, because uh, things go up in prices, your property taxes get increased, your daycare costs get increased, you can start to see how it's not your fault, but it's also something that you have to learn and troubleshoot because at the end of the day, life keeps going. All right. So it's just sad. And he works at a buy here, pay here, and he's talking about survival. His survival is based on, right, giving other people a chance for them not to survive with these high interests that a buy here, pay here offers people that have bad credit. And a bad credit person just wants to get to work, provide for their family, and do what they have to do. So if you are over living and buying cars, I do blame you. But if you're somebody that's trying to get by, right, you have to do things because we live in a predatory system of capitalism. And not opposed to capitalism, but there's a pro to con to everything.
I regret getting the car note. And it's not even because I might not have the money to pay my payment or something like that. I really just regret getting one because it's just very inconvenient and it be in the way. Like, it's just really an unnecessary bill. And it really showed me that when you get a car note, it's because you want something nice and you can't afford it. And, leasing and credit and stuff like that, it makes a way so you can get things that you want that you can't afford. But it's like like them payments be in a way. It most definitely be in a way. And especially at my age, because it's so much I want to do. If I ain't gonna lie, if I could today, I would let come pick that car up and I would go save my money and go buy me another car. Just because it just be in a way for real. And this is really for the
Wait,
people that's
wait.
thinking about getting
What you
one. I ain't
say?
gonna lie. If I could today, I would let come pick that car up and I would go save my money and go buy me another car.
Okay.
Just because it just be in a way for real. And this is really for the people that's thinking about getting one. It's not for people that already have one. I mean, yeah, use the comments to like speak your truth, but come on now, be respectful.
One thing I've learned is that like the hardest thing to do is the right thing, right? The right thing is trying to get a car that you can use for a couple of years to get by. You should see that as an investment. This car is going to give me the time so I can buy the car that I want. That's how you do it. Hard for somebody to just have that mental patience and the physical patience and the financial patience to delay gratification and save up for a car. Because we live in a world where debt is normalized and keeping up with everybody is something that you have to do, or else people are scared of what people are going to say about them. So the opinions of people is the biggest driver to this financial crisis and this debt slavery system that we live in, right? The banks do have a lot to do with it. The politics has a lot to do with it, but also some people's insecurity is the biggest, driver in the car. If you really want to get ahead in life, right, you have to understand, like, the moment you stop competing with others is the moment that money starts working for you instead of against you. Competition culture is really what's driving this car payment crisis. We deal with BMW car payments every day on this channel. For God's sakes, we have somebody that cannot afford their BMW and they really want to run away from it, right? So comparison to me is a debt collector that never stops knocking. The Joneses are usually broke too. They're just better at hiding it.
I am so sick of how expensive it is to just live. Before I left work, I had to make sure I bought tickets to my kids' musical for school. And I'm going both nights, and then my parents and my husband's parents are going one night, and then we're going as a family one night. So I just paid for those tickets. For all those tickets all together, it was like $62 or something like that, 62. And then I left work. I got my kids to school. I had to get gas. I was on E. My gas light was on. I had busy like for the rest of the evening after I wake up after sleeping. So I was like, let me just do it. It just cost $78 to fill my tank. I do have a mid-size SUV. I have a Chevy Traverse. But literally before this day has even started, I have now spent $140. How the freak do you sustain life anymore? I don't know. It's so frustrating how expensive everything is. It's like every time you turn around, there's like something else to pay for. And I know that's being an adult and I know that's life, but it's so frustrating. $78 to fill my tank. That's a record. That's the most it's ever cost me to fill my tank since I've gotten this car. I'm unwell.
Out of all the videos that we learned today, right, is that some people are living a life that they obviously, number one, created for themselves by their own choices, but also being forced down on them by politics and government. And somebody paying $78 for an SUV when they're already, financially struggling is not a good look. But we know how governments work. Regular people are struggling paycheck to paycheck. Landlords are struggling month to month. Millionaires are living year to year, and governments are living war to war, right? But at the end of the day, everything that we've learned and all the things that we've seen today is that a lot of people would live life with this optimism, and then it ends as a regret. Some people need to understand that you don't want to sacrifice your future by how you're living now, because things change. Kids come in, childcare costs go up. Also, something that government does control is property taxes. We're living in a house poor crisis right now. People cannot afford their mortgages because of the high property taxes, right? And people often mistake attention for success and payments for progress. That is another thing that I'm seeing with these videos, right? And a lot of the situation is dealt to us, and we have to live that way. But some people can make a decision. You don't need an SUV if you have one child or two children. I have a sedan, and that works perfectly. But most people won't live like me, right? And you don't need a 3,200 square feet when it's only 4 people in a house. I have this 2-bedroom townhouse, and I don't even use 60% of the space. So living below your means is not a diss. It should be something for you to look at, to be like, you know what? There's predators that really want to ruin my life, and it takes a level of sacrifice and a level of level-headedness for you to get ahead. The oxygen of money is freedom. If it can't buy you that, you're playing the wrong game. But I'm ending the video here, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the bell notification for future videos. If you really want to support the channel even more, become a member down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Be good, do good. Peace.